And here in this section, it will be like it describes the most prominent, all his limitless, all pervading opulences. And then he's going to name his opulences, explain about his opulences, and he's going to say that these are just the fragment of my glory. And, I have a lot of things. And because he pervades and supports the entire universe with a mere fragment of total potency, is what Lord Krishna is going to talk about in this section. So let's see how much we can cover today. Here we start with this one, 10.19. Shri Bhagavanuvacha antate kathayishyami divyayatma vibhutayah pradhanyatah kuru sreshta nastyanto vistarasya me. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. This is what Lord Krishna says. Arjuna has very nicely requested Lord Krishna, right? Oh, Krishna, please reveal your opulences to us. And how he wants him to reveal Vistarena, in detail. So after hearing Arjuna's request for, I mean, 6-7 shlokas, now Krishna has started speaking. And before he starts describing, he has something very important to say. So Krishna says, now who is saying? Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is saying, what did he say? What is he saying? Hantate. Hantate Katesham. Hanta. Hanta means yes, I'm going to tell you. Hantate. Te means you. I will tell you. What? Kateshami. I will speak to you, Arjuna. So, yes, I will speak to you, Arjuna. So, what will he tell Arjuna? Divya Yatma Vibhutayaha. I will certainly tell you. What will I certainly tell you about my Divya Vibhutis? All about my divine and personal, all my opulences. But then Krishna says, Pradhanyata Kurusreshta. Best of Kurus, Kurusreshta, you are the best of Kurus, Arjuna. I will tell you only which are principal ones, very, very important ones, prominent ones. Pradhanyata. I will tell you Pradhan, which is very, very important. Okay, Kurusreshta. Then why? Why, Krishna, you are not telling everything? You can tell me everything, right? So Krishna is saying, because na asti anta vistarasya me. Na asti anta. There is no limit only, Arjuna. There are so many. Okay. Vistarasya me, to the extent of my, there is no limit to the extent of my opulences. So there is no point, right? So many are there. So I will tell you pradhanyata, only important ones. Okay. So here Krishna is saying, yes, Arjuna, I will fulfill your request. So Srila Prabhupada states in his purport that it's not possible only to, comprehend the greatness of Krishna. It's not easy. And his opulences are so many. Our senses are what? It's limited, small. And we cannot understand. We cannot understand the totality of Krishna's energies, Krishna's opulences, Krishna's affairs. But still, pure devotees, they enjoy, they take a lot of pleasure, they take transcendental pleasure in trying to enjoy talking about Lord Krishna, talking about his divine energies, his diverse energies, his opulences. Pradhanyata, principle, very, very important. It's very important, I'm going to tell you, because his features are unlimited. That's why Lord uses the word pradhanyata. He's describing, what can be directly perceived by common man, because there's so many, we can't even perceive all that. So whatever you can see around you, that's what prominently I will tell you. Okay, because my energies are variegated. It's too many. It's if I go into minute details, you will not even understand. Even Ramayana, it has Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. It starts like that. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. God is unlimited. His pastimes are unlimited. There's so many, what all to tell, right? So those who think that we can sit and we can count the glories of God, that means we are having kind of childish intellect. We may be, by chance we may count the countless specks of dust. Maybe very, very intelligent person or somebody who is having a lot of siddhis may be able to count that unlimited, but nobody can count the unlimited of God. So Lord Krishna is saying over here, he will describe only small fraction of his vibhutis. Which one? Pradhanyata. Very, very important principle, main ones. So let's see what Krishna's opulence is, what is he trying to say? So Lord is saying over here, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Stitaha Aham Adishta Madhyam Cha Bhutanamanta Eva Cha. Yes, anybody interested in reading the translation? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
I am
Krishna.
the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. So Lord Krishna, he has started now. He started his opulences. So he starts with a very, very important opulence. So Krishna is saying Gudakesha. He's calling Arjuna Gudakesha. What is Gudakesha? One who has conquered the sleep and ignorance. So he says, Oh Arjuna, aham, atma, sarva bhuta, ashaya I am, aham, I am the super soul. I am the Atma in Sarva Bhuta Ashaya I am living in all the living entities. And I am situated where? Within the heart. So I am sitting Ashaya I am sitting in their heart, situated in their heart. Stita means situated. Aham, Adi. He started telling his opulence. Aham Adi. I am the origin. Madhyam. I am the middle. Anta. I am the end. Bhutanam, of all the living entities. I am the beginning, I am the middle, I am the anta. That is what Lord Krishna has started his opulences with. Very nice shloka where Lord Krishna is making it very clear about his supremacy. Making it very clear. I am everything. I am the origin. Gudakesha is very important because Gudakesha, we have come across this word even before, Kesha also. And here, Gudakesha here means Arjun is been able to conquer sleep, completely. When he was in Gurukul also, when Dronacharya used to ask him to, learn that the technique of bow and arrow, and he was not able to do that. When would he practice? He would go in the middle of the night also, he would continuously practice. So much so that he was able to conquer sleep and continuously practice, and he did a lot of tapasya as well. And also, sleep is something, which, drives the person down and makes that person very lazy, So Arjuna had conquered sleep also completely, and the sleep was under his control now. He knew when he could do everything was under his control, and he was not under the control of sleep. So he was above that ignorance. Sleep also is a synonymous to ignorance. Somebody who's very lazy. Lazy comes under the mode of ignorance. So he was above all that mode. Because it comes under the mode of sleep, comes under the mode of ignorance. So Arjuna was that personality. That is why Lord has addressed him as Gudakesha. And and for it was because he was above the mode of ignorance, he was above, he could control everything was within his control. So it was very easy for him to understand what Krishna was trying to say. It was simple for him, not for us. So if we really want to understand Krishna, if we want to understand all the topics that we are trying to read over here, if we want to relish all chanting the names of the Lord, then we have to come above the mode of ignorance at least, and of course passion as well, and even for that matter the mode of goodness also. But at least we can start with, we have to come above the mode of ignorance and passion. And then how can this happen? It's just by doing the activities in the mode of goodness, very simple activities like, getting up very, very early in the morning, like Brahma Muhurta, which roughly starts around 3:30 or so, 3:40, and goes up to like 6:30. And so we can get up early in the morning. Today being Bhishma Ekadashi, such a nice day when, Bhishma chose this day. So in between this time, we need to get up, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then offer prasadam, then honor the prasadam, and whatever we put in our mouth, that has to be prasadam. We cannot eat anywhere and everywhere. So the clothes that we wear can be in the mode of goodness. So people who we associate can be, they can be in the mode of goodness. Ideally, we should associate only with devotees, but that can't happen. So like this, activities we do in our day-to-day lifestyle, whatever lifestyle we have, that we should try to be, we can modify a little bit here and there so that we can rise above the platform of ignorance. and passion, and then slowly goodness as well. And from there, we actually go to pure devotion. So here we understand what Lord Krishna is saying. He's saying he is the super soul now. So when it comes to super soul, when it's actually different level, so that we need to understand how this whole creation happened when Lord is saying that super soul. So Lord, when he comes, his first expansion is Balram, right? He's a Swamsha expansion of the Lord. So therefore, there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balram. To explain this more clearly, all expansions of Lord begin with Lord Krishna, right? For his pastimes in one of the highest level of spiritual realm, the Dwarka, Lord Krishna, he expands him to Balram, who then expands himself into Pradyumna, Aniruddha, right? So these four then expand into second quadruple, which is again present in the unlimited Vaikuntha planets of the spiritual sky. And second, of course, will be again Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. They are changeless. They are transcendental expansions of Lord Krishna. So in the second quadruple, Vasudeva is the expansion of Lord Krishna, then Sankarshna is the representation of Balram. Then in the Vaikuntha sky, there is pure spiritual creative energy, Shuddha Sattva. So it sustains all the spiritual planets with all the full opulences of full knowledge, full wealth, full power, beauty. Everything is there in spiritual sky. You can imagine it is pervading the entire kingdom, spiritual kingdom. Everybody, the residents who are living over there, they're fully enjoying over there. That is the energy over there. So this energy, that's the creative potency of Balram, Mahasankarshna. Then he expands into four different forms: Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu, right? Then we have Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as you can see in the picture also in the screen. Then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the expansion in each universe. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the Lord is talking about the super soul in each individual. He's saying, right, Aham Atma Gudakisha. So he is the super soul. Then, of course, there is a Sheshnag also, on which Lord rests. So the all these, they assist in the cosmic manifestation. Sheshanag is Balram's form, who assists in Lord's personal seva, He is called Ananta, means unlimited, Ananta Shesh, because he assists Lord in his unlimited variety of pastimes. That's why he's Ananta Shesha. Kshirodaksha Vishnu, of course, the one Lord is talking about in this shloka, Aham Atma, super soul. We need to understand that he is super soul at various levels, from macro to micro level. And he's also making this statement over here that he is the beginning, he is the middle, he is the end of all the beings. So basically, he is the creator. He is the creator of all beings. He is the maintainer of all beings. And when annihilation happens, at that time also, all the living entities, they take the shelter of Mahavishnu. So this way, Lord Krishna is making it very clear in this shloka that he is the supreme personality who makes the creation and who creates the entire creation. He sets everything in motion. Finally, everybody, he gives shelter to everyone, So it goes on to say, whenever we see anything in this world, whatever we see anything in this world, we need to remember Krishna all the time. This is what Lord Krishna is, trying to convey to us. Whatever you see, I'm seated in your heart. To begin with. So Lord Krishna is going to speak so many opulences. So let's see that one. If anyone has that book or Veda base, they can open to read the translation, because the translations on this screen will be very small. You'll not be able to read. Adityanam aham Vishnu Jyotisham Raviransuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshitranam aham Shashi. Anybody who has a book or has, or shall I open the Veda base and read? Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon, says Lord Krishna. So this, we can understand this one from Puranas. We learn that, sage Kashyap used to there, Kashyap Muni. He had two wives, Aditi and Diti. From Aditi, he had 12 great personalities, heavenly personalities. So they were called Adityas. That is why Lord Krishna is saying, of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. So Vishnu means here what? He was Vaman Deva. Among these 12 sons of Aditi, they're called Adityas. Aditya Nam Aham Vishnu. Here Vishnu is Vaman Deva. We know the pastime of Vaman Dev, right? You all know the story of Vaman Dev?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Vamandev avatar, he starts with Mahabali, the Asura king. Who was Mahabali? Mahabali was Bali. Bali was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj and son of Virochana. And when this Samudra Manthan was happening, right, the gods became immortal. They became very powerful. And Indra's army, they all defeated Daityaraj, Bali, and the army of Asuras and Daityas. So one day, what happened is Daityaraj Bali, he went to meet his guru, Shukracharya. And he said, Acharya, please tell me, Guruji, way to gain back my powers. I want to get my kingdom, my powers back. So Acharya, you must do that, so and so, Maha Abhishek, Yajna, Vishwajit, Ajna, you can get back your powers. So Bali Maharaj said, okay, I'll go and do my yajna. And he does that. And once he does that, he becomes very powerful. So he goes to, into battle with Indra, and he wins the battle also against Indra. And then again with Guru Shukracharya's guidance, he is able to maintain his victorious position. And Shukracharya keeps telling him, he said, if you keep on performing these yajnas and all, you can live a very fearless life and you can have a very great, powerful life. But you must keep giving, alms to poor people, brahmanas and all that. Bali Maharaj says, okay, yeah, that's not an issue at all. Now here Indra is very disturbed. He goes to Guru Brihaspati and he says, how can I get back my, all these powers? So Brihaspati says, you have to seek Lord Vishnu's help. So Indra starts doing all his penance and he wants to please Lord Vishnu. So Maharishi Kashyap's wife Aditi, she was Indra's mother. She saw her son in trouble. She goes to Lord Vishnu. She says, please help, Lord. So Lord says, okay, Dev Mata, I will help you. I will born as a son, as your son in the near future, and I will defeat Bali. So that's how it happened. And Aditi gave birth to a boy and she named him Vamana. And one day Vaman as a Brahmana, he posed as a Brahmana and he went to the place where Shukracharya and Bali, they were doing some yajna. So naturally, Bali saw the Brahman boy and he said, oh, how can I help you, Brahman boy? And he said, I have heard a lot about you. You give so much of dakshina to Brahmanas. So I don't want any of your wealth or your luxuries. I just need some land. I will cover with my 3 steps and that much land I need if you can give me so. So yeah, sure. People were quite surprised what kind of, dakshina is asking. And they were all laughing at what kind of dakshina is asking. But Bali agreed. He said, yeah, whatever you want, just take it. Suddenly what happened? He just grew. He started growing in size and soon he grew so big, larger than planet Earth itself. Then he took a large step. He put it on the earth to claim it. It says, now the earth is mine. Second step, he covered Amravati also, Indra's place. And he said, now that is also under my control. Now Amravati is mine. Now once Amravati was under Brahmana boy's position. So he said, now Bali, where should I keep my third step? So earth and heaven are already mine. There is no place. Shukracharya warned Bali Maharaj. He said, be careful, Bali Maharaj. I'm sure this Brahman is not an ordinary boy. He is surely he is, Lord Vishnu's Vishnu himself. But anyway, don't let him take the third step because if then you will lose everything. You don't have anything as such. He says, Gurudev, what can I do? I have given him my word. I can't go back from it. And then Asuras and Daityas, they heard this and they wanted to attack Vamandev, but they could not harm him at all. He is Lord Vishnu after all. So Bali Maharaj then told Vamandev, nothing is left, so you just keep your feet, third step on my head. So after hearing Bali Maharaj's words, Lord, then he appeared in his form. Then he said, okay, I will bless you now, Bali. You are a great devotee. You will rule Patal Lok forever from now. And then Bali Maharaj goes to Patal Lok, and Indra and all the other devatas, they are able to retain the heaven. And because of Lord Vishnu's Vaman avatar. That's why Lord Krishna is saying over here of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. And I am the radiant sun. Because at night, what happens when all the stars are there, moons are there? Is that enough to, remove the darkness of the night? But as soon as morning sun rises in the morning, immediately the night gets dispelled. That's why the sun is so powerful. And Lord says it is one of my vibhutis, and He's revealing it that way. Then, Maruts, in Puranas, it is also said that, Kashyap Muni, he had fathered even Daityas from Diti. He had two wives, right? Aditi and Diti. From Diti, he had fathered Daityas, demons. But apart from Daityas, Diti wanted a very powerful son, much more powerful than Indra, the heavenly god. So she kept her baby in the womb for more than a year. Now, Indra, he got little bit disturbed, and he used his thunderbolt to split the fetus into many, many pieces. And it turned into many fetuses. This became like Maruts, 49 powerful kinds of wind. That's why, Hanumanji is also called Maruti, because he could, fly like great, with a great speed kind of wind. So 49 kinds of winds that flow in the universe. They do all good, of course. And the chief wind among that is called Marichi. So his name is actually Parivaha, and he also bears the name as Marichi. So among that of the Maruts, Lord Krishna is saying, of the Maruts, I am Marichi. Lord, he says that is also one of my vibhutis. And of course, among the stars, he says moon is definitely very prominent, right? At night, we can see that. So he is revealing it as his opulence. He is trying to reveal his opulence, which are very prominent, because for the commoners, because we can see the wind, we can see the moon, we can see the sun, right? And of course, he said, I am Vishnu as Vaman Deva. We all know the story also. So we move on to the next shloka. If anyone has got Veda base, you can open and read the translation for the next shloka. 22. Vedanam samavedosmi devanam vasavaha indriyanam manashchasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. Yes, anyone want to read the translation?
Translation? Okay, go on.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, please.
Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force. That's consciousness. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna is saying among the Vedas, he is the Sama Veda. And it is, we all know there are 4 Vedas, right? And it is also the most musical Vedas. Among all the Vedas, this is the most musical, and it is sung in the praise of the Lord. So that's why Lord Krishna says it's very musical. So I am Sama Veda. Krishna is, he says I am Vasava. It's another name for Indra. He's the chief of all the devatas. So only a soul with many, many, many lifetimes of pious credits, pious deeds can be promoted to get the position of Indra. Indra is not, anybody can become Indra. You need to have lifetimes of pious credits, pious deeds. All these Devi Devatas, it's not easy to become Devi Devatas. We need lifetime of pious deeds to be. So that's why he says, I am, Indra, the king of heaven. Lord Krishna is saying, I am the mind among the senses. Why? Because the 5 senses, they function correctly only if the mind is attentive to them. Otherwise, these 5 senses will, if mind wanders away, the senses cannot function properly. You may be sitting over here, you may be looking at the screen, you may be trying to use your ears also and eyes also, but if the mind has gone as to what is happening in the other room, or what is happening in my office, or whatever happening in the next room, then senses cannot function properly, right? You can hear with your ears what people are saying, but if your mind is not there, for example, while I am speaking, your mind is not there, but your ears are over here, the words are lost to you. So the mind is the king of the senses. So Lord Krishna says, of the senses, I am the mind. So Krishna says, I am the life force. consciousness, Chetana. So he says, I am the Chetana, I am the consciousness because consciousness is the quality of the soul. That is what distinguishes between a living body and a dead body, right? That's the difference. Otherwise, if the consciousness is not there, then the body is dead. So consciousness exists in the soul by divine power of God only. If God gives that power, the consciousness remains, Chetana remains in that. So that's why he says, I am the living force or consciousness. So we move on to the next shloka. Rudranam Shankarashtasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavakashtasmi Merushikirinamaham. Yes, please.
Of the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am the fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Lord Krishna is saying among the Rudras, there's 11 Rudras. So among that, I am Lord Shiva. There are a lot of 11 names are there. And he says Shankar is the original form of Lord Shiva in the universe. So he says, I am that. So he is everything basically, but he is telling the prominent ones. Yakshas, they are semi-celestial beings. They are very fond of acquiring wealth, and they want to keep lot of wealth, and they keep hoarding the wealth and all. So there is a leader for those yakshas also. He is named as Kuber. So he is the god of wealth. Many people, they pray to Kuber also for wealth, and he is the treasurer. He is in the heavenly planets, in the celestial planets, with the Devi Devtas. He is the one who is the treasurer. People have to go to him to get money for accounts and all, everything. He is the one who's maintaining. He's got a lot of money, wealth. So that is why Lord Krishna says he reflects that vibhuti, Kuber. So he says, I am the Lord of wealth also. So then again, when it comes to Vasus, there are 8 Vasus. You have land, you have water, fire, air, space, sun, moon, stars, so many. So he says, there are so many Vasus over here. Among them, I think I am fire because it gives warmth and energy. He is all. Every vibhuti is his only, but he is just trying to tell us. It's not that one is less than the other, but he is just trying to bring out very, very important ones, because Agni, when it comes to Agni, it gives warmth and energy. To the rest of the elements also, it will give warmth and energy. So Lord Krishna is mentioning it as special manifestation. Meru Parvat, they say, right? It is in the celestial abodes. It's having lot of, Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport that it is having lot of natural resources. So it is believed to be the axis around which all the heavenly bodies are rotating. That's what it's written over there. So Lord Krishna speaks that it is one of my vibhutis. As wealth distinguishes a wealthy person, his glories reveal the vibhutis of the Lord. That's what Lord is trying to tell us. We move on to the next one. Purodasam cha mukyam mam vidhi partha brahaspatim senaninam maham skandaha sarasamasmi sagaraha. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, priest, what does a priest do? He will come, he will do some puja, ritualistic, everything, all the ceremonies in our home, in our temples, right? So, same way in the spiritual kingdom, we have Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the chief Pandit, chief priest in heaven. So, he is the topmost of all the priests. That is why Lord Krishna has taken his name, that I am Brihaspati. When it comes to Kartikeya, he is Lord Shiva's son. And his name is also Skanda. And actually, in the heavenly kingdom, in the spiritual kingdom, everybody has a role, right? Role to play. So he is the commander in chief in the heavenly place, and he is the chief of all the military commanders. So he is the top. So Lord Krishna says, I'm one of that opulence. So that he says, I am among generals, I am Kartikeya. Further, he says, among the bodies of water, he says, I am the mighty ocean. So there's so many So many bodies of water, right? So the ocean is so big, so large, nobody can measure it. So he says, I am the ocean. Then he continues. He says, Maharishinam Ruguraham Giramasmekam Aksharam Yajnanam Japayajñosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibration, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Hare Krishna. Mata.
So Brahma is the secondary creator, and he created several sons also, right? He wanted to improve the population of this whole world, whole creation. So he wanted to propagate various kinds of species. So among these sons that Brahma had, Bhrigu Maharishi was a very, very powerful sage. So Lord Krishna says that among the great sages, I am Bhrigu. There are many, many other great sages, but one of the great sages is Bhrigu Maharishi, and he says, because he's directly come from Brahma and Brahma's son, so I says, I am Bhrigu. And then, of course, nothing to beat the Omkara, the vibrational, transcendental vibration, Om. Om. The more, it says, scientists say when they go into the space, they can hear that sound. Om. So that represents Lord Krishna, they say. For the practice of all the yajnas and everything, there's so many rules, right? So many rules are applicable. We need to follow all the rules and regulations. All the materials have to be pure. The pandit who is chanting has to be, chanting properly. The time, the muhurat has to be good. But when it comes to japa yajna, there are no rules. So that is why Lord Krishna is very clearly telling over here, and it becomes more strong for us to understand that we need to chant. So for japa yajna, there are no rules. Of all the sacrifices, Lord Krishna is saying that I am the chanting of the holy name, japa. So for us, the chanting is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the purest representation of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So Kali Juga Kevala Nam Adhara Sumiri Sumiri Nara Uttara Ahipara. In Ramayanam, it is given over there. So in the age of Kali, there is no other way but to chant and remember the name of God. That's the powerful way of a powerful way to get across this ocean of material existence or ocean of sorrows. So then he says of immovable hills, things, I am the Himalayas. So many great rishis are also, they say they are residing in the Himalayas, in their subtle bodies, not in their physical bodies, but in subtle bodies. Many sages are still over there doing a lot of tapasya. They are practicing penance, for their own advancement. And of course, many of them sages are doing for the benefit of the humankind also. So a lot of siddhas are over there. And that is why Himalayas are the greatest mountain in the world. And Lord Krishna says it represents him. It is one of his vibhutis. So we move on to the next 26th shloka. Ashwattha sarva vrikshanam devarishinaam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitrarataha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mata. Continue, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages, among the demigods, I am Narad. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So banyan tree, Ashwatha, beautiful. We'll come across that tree in chapter 15 also. It is the highest, most beautiful tree. People in India worship. It's one of as their daily rituals, morning rituals. Many villages have, and they do that also. Lord Buddha also meditated and attained enlightenment under the people tree, the sacred fig tree. It said Ashwatha tree is fig tree, people tree, under which Buddha also attained. Lord Buddha attained his enlightenment. So it's a very, very important tree, and Lord says it represents his vibhutis, one of his vibhutis. Of course, everybody knows who says Narada is Narayan, Narayan. He keeps moving around the whole world. And he is the guru of so many great personalities, including our Ved Vyasa, Valmiki, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, so many, right? And what does he always do? He's always singing the glories of the Lord and going around doing all the divine work throughout the, three worlds, Swarga Loka, Mrityu Loka, Patal Loka, everywhere. So, of course, among the Devi Devatas and all, they also worship Lord Narada. He is considered the greatest devotee in the world. So, he represents Lord Krishna's Vibhuti. And Lord Krishna says he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. Narada is the representation. So, Gandharva planet, when we go to Gandharva planet, there are so many entities over there. They are singing beautiful, nice, bhajans and kirtans and all that. And among them, like in India, we call Lata Mangeshkar as the Nightingale of India. Similarly, over there in Gandharva planet, Chitraratha is the best singer over there, right? We still call Lata Mangeshkar. She is no more, but she has always been given the title Nightingale of India. Similarly, Chitraratha is the best singer in the Gandharva planet. So Siddhas, Siddhas, who are Siddhas, they have spiritual perfection. They have got that perfection. So among that, Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni, who is Kapila Muni? Kapila Muni is, when we read Bhagavatam, we come across this Muni's name. He is the son of Devahuti. And here it is, Lord Krishna is saying that he is the representation of Krishna. So he is considered an incarnation of Krishna. And his philosophy, everything, what he says to his mom, mother, everything, it's written over there in what he says to his wife, and everything is written in his Srimad Bhagavatam. Kapil Muni, what he talks to Devahuti, his mother, and how he tells about everything, each and everything about spiritual perfection. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the next one. Uchche Shravasvam Ashwanam Viddhi Mamamrutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Of horses know me to be Uchche Shrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the Devi, Devatas, and the demons, Asuras, they once did that Samudra Manthan, churning of the sea. From this churning, what all came? Many things came. Nectar came, poison came, and the poison was consumed by Lord Shiva. He saved everyone by drinking the poison. From the nectar also, many entities had come. From that, one of the entities was the horse named Uchchaishrava. So another animal produced from this nectar was an elephant that was named as Airavata. So because these two animals were produced from the nectar, that is why they are very special. That is why they are the representation of Krishna. That's what Lord Krishna says. Because Uchchaishrava, he's a celestial, it has wings also, winged horse. It belongs to Indra, the king of heaven. And Uchchaishrava, the horse is white in color and fastest horse in the universe. And yeah, so it came out during that churning. That is why Airavata also, it's white elephant. And that also is a vehicle of Indra only. And elephant of the clouds, it's also called elephant of the clouds because it's going in that, white color among the white clouds, and it's beautiful. And both are owned by Indra only. Of course, the next one, Lord Krishna says, among men, I am the monarch. He is the king. King is the representation of Krishna. Why? Because, Krishna is the maintainer of the whole universe. And the kings who are appointed because of their qualifications, they are maintaining their kingdoms, right? So that is why Lord Krishna is saying that among the men, I am the monarch. So these are the shlokas we covered in this slide. We'll move on to the next one, next slide, and read the next shlokas. आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Basuki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So weapons. I am the thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a very powerful weapon. That Lord Krishna says represents Krishna's power. In the Puranas, there is a story of sacrifice, which Dadhichi Rishi had offered. It's something which at least I have not heard anywhere. Indra, he was once he was driven out of his kingdom, heaven, by a demon called Vritasura. And the demon had the boon, that he could not be killed by any weapon. Till then, whatever weapons were known, till then he was not going to be killed. He had got that kind of boon. So the Indra became very desperate. So he went to Lord Shiva. He said, Lord Shiva, please help me. Lord Shiva said, how can I? Let's go to Lord Vishnu. So they all went to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said, you know what? Now that whatever weapons are there and he cannot be killed and he has got such a boon, so what we can do, the only weapon that could kill Vritasura will be a thunderbolt, that can be made from the bones of sage Rishi Dadhichi. So then they all went to Rishi and they said, can you please help us, because we need to kill that demon. He is really troubling us. So he made that sacrifice, and so that his bones could be used to make that Vajra. It's called Vajra. So Dadhichi, he accepted. He said, but you know what? I want to go to Tirth Yatra first, to all the holy rivers. But Indra was having no time. So Indra said, don't worry about all that holy rivers. I will arrange for you. So he brought all the rivers, holy rivers, to Naimisharanya. And he said, now all the rivers are over here. You have your wish fulfilled. So without any losing any time, Dadichi, then he gave up his body. Of course, they had that yogic techniques through which they could give up their bodies during those era. And then that Vajra or thunderbolt, it was made from that bone, and then they defeated the demon Vritasura. Then he got his kingdom back and all that. So Lord Krishna is saying, he's referring to thunderbolt here, because that was made later, and that's the representation of the glory of God. He is preferring it above the mace, gada, and the disc that he is always carrying, right? Lord Vishnu carries gada, mace, and all that. But he is preferring this thunderbolt above all this because of what had happened. So that's what Lord Krishna says, that among the weapon I am this. And then, Dhenunam asmi kamadhuk. So among the cows, I am the wish fulfilling cow. In this verse, Lord is revealing that among the cows, I am kamadhuk. Kamadhuk means what? Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu means, wish fulfilling cow. It's also known as Surabhi. So in Krishna Loka, when you go to spiritual world, there are cows. They can be milked at any time, even night, day, doesn't matter at what time, and they will give you as much milk as anybody wants. There is no, stopping them. So Lord keeps many such cows, and they are called Surabhi. So Lord is stating over here that Lord is engaged in, and taking care of such cows, going out with Surabhi cows. So he is says, I am among cows, I am Surabhi. Then of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa. Kandarpa is the sex desire for having, good sons. For, sex is, not only for sense gratification. You don't engage in sex only for sense gratification. That sex does not represent Lord Krishna. Krishna is very clear about it, that it is for presenting good, in a proper way. So that is why Kandarpa represents sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa, Kamadeva, and that represents Lord Krishna. And then he says, of serpents, I am Vasuki. So among the serpents, I am Vasuki. He states that. That's clear. So Anantaschasmi Naganam Varuno Yadasamaham Pitrinam Maryama Chasmi Yamassam Sanyamatamaham. Yes.
Translation of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So among many hooded Naga serpents, Ananta Shesha. Ananta is the divine serpent, on which Lord Vishnu is resting. He possesses 10,000 hoods, so many, and it is said also that he is describing the glories of God with each of his hood since beginning of the creation, and it said that the description has not yet been completed. That many vibhutis are there of Lord. You can imagine. It's beyond our comprehension also. We can't comprehend. It's beyond our intellect. So the demigod Varuna is among the aquatics. Varuna is the celestial god of the ocean. That's why we say Varun Dev. That's the celestial god of the ocean. So it represents is a representation of Lord Krishna. Aryama. Who was Aryama? He was the son of Aditi. He is, in the Pitraloka, is the third son of Aditi, and in the Pitraloka he is there, and he is the head of the departed ancestors. So that's one of his representations of Pitraloka. Then of course Yamaraj. We all know who Yamaraj is. He what does he do? He arranges the soul. He takes the soul from this mortal body from after death, and then whatever justice has to be done, he does on the behalf of God. Whatever we have done, he gives us punishment or the reward, whatever for the next life. And come what may, whatever you may plead over there, he will not deviate even an inch from his duties. Whether it is it's gruesome, it's awful, it's painful, he will not deviate. So he is Yamraj. So he reflects the glory of God as perfect dispenser of justice. So he does that. So we move on to the next one. Prahaladashasmi daityanam kalah kalayatamaham mriganam cha mrigendoham vainateyascha pakshinam.
Hare Krishna. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So as we said, Sage Kashyap had Diti and Aditi, right? They were two sisters. So son of Aditi, they were called Adityas. Son of Diti, they were called Daityas. So all the Adityas, they were devotees of the Lord. All the Daityas, they were atheistic. So Prahlad Maharaj was born in the family of Daityas. But yet, he was a great devotee of the Lord from his childhood, because he did a lot of devotional service. He had a lot of godly nature, very calm nature. He is considered to be the representative of Lord Krishna. So because he was born to that powerful demon king, Daitya king, Hiranyakashyap, but he turned out to be the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. So that's why among the demons, Prahlad has been chosen to best reflect the glory of the Lord. That's why. Time, of course, nobody can beat the time. It can defeat the biggest of the mightiest of the person in this world. Time, no one can defeat time. So of the animals, Lord says lion. Lion is very powerful, very ferocious. Lion is the king of jungle, so it represents Lord. And among the birds, millions of birds, there are so many varieties of birds. Garuda. Why Garuda? Because it's the divine vehicle of the Lord, Vishnu, right? So greatest among the birds. That's why Lord Krishna has chosen as Garuda. He says, among all the birds, I am Garuda. So let's move on to the next one. Pavanah pavatamasmi ramashastra jashana makarashchasmi srotasanasmi jahanavi.
Hare Krishna. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapon, I am the Rama. I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the Sok. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
So in nature, what happens? Wind is there, right? Wind performs its work, the work of purification. It converts all the impure water to water vapor. It carries the dirty smell of the earth. It makes fire to burn by fueling it with oxygen. So it's the greatest purifier of the nature. That is why Lord says that of purifiers, I am the wind. Then when it comes of the wielders of weapon, I am Ram. Why Lord Krishna is saying I am Ram? Because Lord Ram, he was the most powerful warrior on earth. And his bow was the deadliest weapon. But he, just because he was so powerful, he never abused his, what do you call, dominant superiority. He never once did that, right? Every time, whenever he utilized his weapon, it was only for a good purpose. So that is why Lord Krishna says, of the wielders of weapon, one who was holding a weapon, I am Ram. And Ram was also avatar of Lord Krishna, right? He was the avatar. So Lord Krishna identifies with him because he was using the weapon for the right cause. And then he says, of fishes, I am the shark. Of all the aquatics, shark is one of the biggest. We all know that, right? And it's very dangerous also. So Lord Krishna says he represents shark. And of the flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Ganges is a Ganga Nadi. It's a holy river, right? It has a beginning from, it's said that its beginning is from the feet or divine feet of the Lord. It has descended on this earth from those celestial abodes. That is why it has been said that of the flowing rivers, I am Ganges, Lord Krishna says. So let's move on to the next shloka. Sarganamadirantashcha madhyam chaivaham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vadav pravadatamaham.
Hare Krishna. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle of Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusion truth. Hare Krishna.
So Lord Krishna says that he is the beginning, he is the middle, he is the end of all the living beings. Now, he says the same for all creation also. He says, whatever I have created, like I have created space, I have created air, I have created water, I have created earth, it is all called Sarga. So he says, I am the creator. I am the Adi, I am the Madhya, I am the Anta. He has said that in the previous shlokas also, right? So he says, the whole process of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, everything, it can be meditated upon as my vibhuti, Lord Krishna is saying. So that is why he said that I am the beginning, end, and the middle. Oh, Arjuna, he's saying. And of course, when it comes to various kinds of knowledge, like 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, everything, Lord Krishna says it represents all these spiritual books that we are reading of, all the Vedas. Lord Krishna says these Vedanta Sutras, they represent me only. Because, and then he says, among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Vada, that's the logical conclusion. So Lord Krishna says, I represent that conclusive truth. Whatever is the conclusive truth, ultimate truth, that is me. That represents me. So let's move on to the next one. Aksharanam makarosmi dvandasamasika cha ahamevakshayah kalaha dhataham vishwato mukhaha.
Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Hare Krishna.
So everybody knows when in Sanskrit, when we are combining the letters, half letter, we put ka and then we put a line underneath it. Then if we put a next to it, then it becomes a complete letter. So letter a, when it comes to letter a or a, It's very, very important when it comes to Sanskrit alphabet, because for any letter in Sanskrit, that a has to be added, then it becomes complete. That is why Lord Krishna has chosen that. And he says, I am that. I represent the of the letters. I am the letter A. And then when it comes to Sanskrit language only, we form compound words. Like, for example, it's called Dvanda Samas in Sanskrit. But for example, let's say the example is Radha Krishna. So Radha Krishna are two words, dual words. We call it dual words. It's called Dvand Samas, means both the words are used together, compound words. That is why he said among compound words, I am the dual compound, like Radha Krishna is the example. And Lord Krishna highlights it as his vibhuti only. Then he says, among the killer, time. He says, I am the inexhaustible time, because time represents Krishna. In due course of time, what will happen? Everything can get annihilated. There may be a great fire and everything can get annihilated. So time is among all kinds of killers. Time is the ultimate one, because time kills everything. That's what Lord Krishna says. I represent the inexhaustible time. And then he singles out this Lord Brahma of creators. I am Brahma, he says, because he was the firstborn, right? Who made this entire universe. And he says that among the creators, I am Brahma, and that reflects the best glory of God, says. I'll just take 5 more minutes of the time, and then we'll finish it. Maybe a couple of shlokas more, okay? मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम उद्भवश्च भविष्यतां कीर्ति श्रीवाक्च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So with this, I will stop with this shloka after this. So Lord Krishna says, as soon as man is born, he dies at every moment. You don't know when death is going to come towards us. Death is all devouring, Lord Krishna says. Every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself, Death can happen anytime. That is why that death is Lord Krishna. Krishna says that death represents me. So I am all devouring death, he says. Mrityu sarva harashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyata. And then Lord Krishna is saying there are certain qualities which is like a jewel, or it is like an adornment in the personality of women. Who are women? Women are the progenitor of this humankind. How this humankind has come because of the women. So Prajapati Daksh used to be there. He had 24 daughters, and 5 of these are considered to be the best of women. Lord Krishna has chosen Kirti, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, Kshama. They were the daughters' names. Shri also was there. Shri is the sage Bhrigu, Brahma's son. Sage Bhrigu's daughter was Shri. Vak was the daughter of Brahmadev himself. So these are all the names that Lord Krishna, these 7 women, they are the presiding deities of these 7 qualities that Lord Krishna is mentioning in this verse. That what are the qualities? He says these are my vibhutis. Kirti means fame. It's one of the glories. Shri means beauty. Vak means the speech. Then Smriti means memory. Medha means intelligence. Dhriti means what do you call, determination, or you can call firmness, and then Kshama means patience. So Lord Krishna says they all represent me. So with this, I will stop for today, and then I'll continue this tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.